Well, to discuss the state of Cambodian politics today, we have Mustapha. She's the Vice President of the opposition Cambodia National Rescue Party. She joins us from Morocco's capital, Rabat. Good to have you on the program once again, Mustapha. So,
thank you.
There are those who see the government extending a hand and saying, come back to politics as an olive branch. And there are others who see it as a trap. Where do you stand on this?
Well, as you see, at this moment, myself and other colleagues are in exile. The president of this Cambodia National Rescue Party, the only opposition party that has over half of the country behind us, the president, Mr. Kem Sokha, is in jail. Democracy in Cambodia is dead. So that's the political situation in Cambodia. After 40 years of Mr. Hun Sen, after 45 years after the Khmer Rouge, so the democracy is dead in Cambodia.
So do you agree with Sam Rainsy, who says it's a trick when the ruling party says, come back to politics now because we're ready to have you back?
Come back to politics, according to Mr. Hun Sen. He has now a one-party state. The whole country now is in his hands. 125, over the 125 seats in parliament belong to his party. At the local level, at the same thing, all belongs to Mr. Hun Sen. Come back to what? Under his terms. However, we have the international community speaking to Mr. Hun Sen at the same time. He has to come back under the terms of democracy and human rights.
So those overtures, are they to you or are they to the international community who are putting pressure on him?
Mr. Hun Sen is still manipulating the situation. On one hand, he knows that he cannot afford to have the opposition party back together intact because he will stand to lose the next election. We are calling for re-election. However, he has the pressure of the international community, and we thank the international community for being strong with democracy. But however, the action has been taken now. The longer we wait for Mr. Hun Sen, the better he can manipulate the situation. The Cambodian people cannot wait any longer. There has to be a return to democracy.
Mona Vidya Kem is probably not as cynical as you are, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Kem Sokha's daughter. She's looking at this as an opening, and she and Sam Rainsy have very publicly disagreed over this. Both are part of the same movement, your movement. Hun Sen must be loving it, looking at the divisions within your party.
I don't think there is a division. I think it's a matter of when, and we want when Mr. Hun Sen will free Mr. Kem Sokha, the father of Mona Vidya. We want him, our president, to be freed today, now. And we agree that unless Mr. Kem Sokha is free, there is no way we can be talking about democracy. It's not a rosy situation. The facts are that Mr. Kem Sokha is still in jail, and the democracy in Cambodia is still not back on track. So we have to be coming to a point where there is at least a point of negotiation with Mr. Hun Sen.
Right. As far as we understand from the outside looking in, it seems as if the way the government has viewed you as the Cambodia National Rescue Party. Initially, they saw you as a threat. You were charged with treason. Party members and the party itself was dissolved at election time. But now after elections and after international pressure, it's water under the bridge. Come back and we'll sort it out. Tell me why you think that's wrong.
What is wrong is that it's democracy as a whole. It's not just the opposition party that is dissolved. We have to look at civil society. We have to look at the situation of human rights at this moment, at workers' rights, at a whole issue of stability, economic stability. We have to look at the presence, the growing presence of China in Cambodia as well. So the situation is being manipulated by Mr. Hun Sen, and that is saying that democracy is up to one man. That is that is wrong. Democracy is about all of us together, sitting, finding solutions for our nation, for our people.
Okay, but given that he's reached out a little bit and he's showing a bit of a thaw, obviously a cynical interpretation could be that there's no elections for the next few years, so he can seem kinder to the opposition until there are elections, and maybe he can clamp down, right? But if what we're discussing is the reality that the international community is putting pressure on him, don't you think that it would be really unwise for him to, for example, arrest someone like you if you decided to go back home now? He wouldn't do that, would he?
He would. He would, so that he could say that he's still in control. However, he would have to think twice. He would, so that he could continue to threaten and to spread fear among the grassroots supporters. We have said already that we will be going back home to Cambodia, because Cambodia is home to us, and living in exile is not a choice, it's not a solution for Cambodia. We are looking for a solution for Cambodia. We are looking for democracy back on track. And asking Mr. Hun Sen for any favor so that we can go back to politics, I think is wrong.
Mm-hmm. And as we circle back to the very beginning, when you see and hear Hun Sen up there on the podium commemorating overcoming the dark days of the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot, how do you feel about that?
You know, when we look at that, we look at 60,000 people is a mass. Who is bringing the mass to the big stadium? The flags that you see over at the stadium are the flags of the ruling party. It's the celebration of the ruling party, the Cambodia People's Party, that is a part of the Khmer Rouge. Mr. Hun Sen is a former Khmer Rouge, so it's a continuation of the Khmer Rouge, but in a different form.
What's your message to the international community as they watch this? And they might not have, and you must forgive them, might not have all the information about what's going on in Cambodia right now. As somebody in opposition and in exile, what's your message to them about your country?
I am very certain that the international community will continue to stand with democracy, because Cambodia is an important place in geopolitics, and I believe that especially the EU, the European Union, and the Commission itself, the Parliament itself of the EU are speaking with one voice. It's just a matter of when will they take action. I think the when should be now. The longer the EU, the international community, leaves room for Mr. Hun Sen to manipulate, the more damage it will make. It will be made to democracy.
And if the government's actually watching this interview on YouTube or elsewhere, what would be an act or a gesture that would make you trust them? Would it be the full release of Kem Sokha, or what?
Not just the full release, immediate release, and drop all the charges against Mr. Kem Sokha, and the return of all of us to go back and not have to ask for permission, petition for pardon. We have not committed any crime, but just what we have done for the past 25 years is to promote democracy, promote human rights, equality, economic justice, social justice for our people. Development is for all of us, for Cambodia to move forward. And the role of the opposition, no matter which party is going to be in opposition, there has to be a parliament that is not a one-party state, a parliament that functions, and institutions, national institutions like the court, the judiciary must be independent, free from the hand of Mr. Hun Sen.
Mustapha, great pleasure talking to you on the Newsmakers once again. Thank you very much.